So I wanted to bring that too in the dialogue. I don't think I could do a lot of it because it's also, how much the story needs. I would have done a lot more. But I had to also look at what the characters in the story
balance
needs.
it.
To
balance it.
Okay. Otherwise I was tempted for digressions.
Speaking of digression, there's poison in the story also. Literally everywhere. I'm reading now, quoting. She glided through the light and dark corridors as if they were skin and tissue, and she the blood pouring through it. It makes your skin crawl actually, puts your breath on hold and your mind set on mystery. Her novel is about real estate. A tool shed, for example, has been described as being wide as Dominic's wouldn't have existed if it were not in this small town. Imagine the real estate that could be stacked onto it if this was a city. So you are talking about real estate market pressures, real estate prices. Do you know, are you into it? Are you understood it? You've studied it? Or?
No, I've not studied it, but because we were landlord's family in Kalyan, so the Violet Fernandez, and we still had that Violet apartment. It's still there actually existing. So I think it was not about me. I was not so interested in land, but I think that happens subconsciously. That when you own land or you know about tenants or you know something, you get interested in it. You feel an affinity towards that, even though you don't really study it. So I have an affinity towards old houses. That's why I love your book. But old houses in craziest ways, like of how the doors might be. I'm not even talking architecture. I'm not even talking interior designing. It's a different kind of a metaphysicality, a spiritual way of house. What does house mean?
Of the house.
Yeah, and house is an entity that speaks to you. And I remember in childhood I'd come to Nue. It was my ancestral home, and come there and spend my May holidays before going back to school in June in Kalyan and then Bombay. But that May holidays in Nue, catching those dragonflies and all, having that house, and it's a different way of how you spend a holiday in May. That mattered, and even I remember kissing each wall before going back. Yeah, I would bid farewell to the house. Right. That is no longer there now. But I would actually say, I'm coming back, okay, and all those kinds of things. I love the house. So I wonder from where does this affinity for land or house comes from, or how a house looks is very important to me. Like, how does its face seem? Not about rich and poor, just how is it done inside? Who lives inside? Then you come to know who lives inside, and what is it outside like. So I think it always matters for me. A house is like it's a lot of metaphysical things. It's not just family and stories, but it's also the story of the house itself. So I think all this, and then when I came to Bombay actually and started living in Bombay, I saw what space and square footage of land means, because you come to a very congested 7 islands and you see the land prices. You also see what I call geographic racism just like that, because you see the South Bombay and the back of Beyond, and I'm like, I live with the back of Beyond. I live in Borivali. So I'm like, that's not the back of Beyond.
When I was in Bombay, they used to say Bandra, the boondocks.
Yeah.
So now Bandra is the most prized.
And I feel that's unfair, because there's a price, how do you say, disparity between what is expensive and not. But when the island submerges in rain, everyone faces the same music.
Everyone be equal.
Yes. Yeah. And when the sea level will rise, everyone is going to face it more on the coast. So there's no point of this difference. But there is. Because I think that's general human nature, to differentiate for superiority. That's a general thing.
Yeah.
That's a very general. But I would get fascinated by this, because coming from Kalyan, we were just Kalyan, far away from Bombay.
Central.
Yes. Yeah. Now you come to Bombay and you still have the South Bombay. But I noticed the square footage and how expensive the city is to people who come from outside. And even if they have 1-bedroom hall kitchens, which is rented, they are paying through their nose. And they're paying, and they come here for their dreams, maybe their Bollywood dreams, film industry dreams. So I thought, I telescoped it back to Kalyan to look at Kalyan again. And by then I was very far away from Kalyan. So I could see the Santos family of the 1990s in perspective. I could see land as an important theme and its fight for land or its square footage. Also by then the Navarasas, you finish getting knee-jerk reactions of, when you're very close to something, you might have more urgent emotions expressed, like anger or like a more dense emotion. You come far away, you start laughing. You start laughing at everything.
Because is that the only way you can survive? Or?
No, I think you start detaching. Yeah, and you find everything funny. So I reached that point where I understood land through Bombay, and I understood how funny everything was, because now the world is graver. Then that was not grave. That was fun.
So I'm going to pick up on grave, and I'm going to say, what mother in the world does not have favorites? To campaign for her favorite son, Rita says, I'm quoting, Jason can do wonders. Look what he did with just a graveyard. Brought it to life. Look, see the humor in this. The land of the dead. No one will say there are dead lying there. So, was there a more, something under, under the stirring under
the grave.
Under the grave.
See, one of it is that I have this fascination with death, not in a morbid way, but I have a fascination that, okay, one day life will end, then your book closes, all the chapters done. So that feeling of liberation, this doesn't continue forever. I think Jason embodied that part of me as a writer, and in a fun way, because we gave him the graveyard. So, and he says that also, he dismisses his elder brother who has land on which he wants to build the Burgundy Tower, and he wants to do something life, like what you do in Samsara. Whereas Jason, what did he do? He buried the dead. So he said, if everyone thinks of life, who'll think of death? I'll think of death. So it's that pride of morbidity.
It's quite touching, actually.
I'm glad you like it.
No, I love it. We are coming to the end of our little discussion.
Okay.
You want to read from the book?
Yes,
just a little bit?
Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, but because there are so many characters, I had to choose, what to read, and then I chose Fabian Furtado. That is who becomes the priest. So I'll just read a little bit.
Is he one of the sons?
So actually, he's a side character in that way. He's outside the Burgundy house, but he's married to Apollina de Costa, who is one of the daughters of the house. So
No, but how does he
How does
become
he
a priest? Yeah.
yes. So that I'll read and probably we'll find out. I'm just wondering. Fabian couldn't tell anyone of his love for God, because all those around him too loved God and prayed deeply. And even if they didn't know exactly that the Old Testament had 46 books and the New Testament 27, they rattled off their prayers with fervent delight, and he had to stay quiet. It hadn't troubled him much for years that he was found in church every evening more than on the football, cricket and hockey grounds, until one day his mother announced that Fabian was on the right side of 30 and it was time for him to settle down into marriage. Fabian captured his secret love for God between his tongue and palate, like the Eucharist, thinking the Almighty was going to send him a package of courage, soon, under his wings and armpits, by which he would stay illuminated enough to educate his mother about the whole truth, and she would let him go in peace to God. But the more he tried to get the attention of his fidgety and anxious mother, filled with quotidian frenzy, he couldn't show her how his love for God could ever be an excuse for not being interested in marriage, when that was the basis of their lives. And so once Fabian realized that God wasn't coming to help him in his pursuit and journey, he would give the land but not the grain, give the water but not the well. It was too late. So now Fabian does get married, okay? He gets married to Apollina. And here it was Apollina rubbing his feet trying to entice him with her dark, naked, plump body. Why couldn't she see that he was not hers, that he was already taken? But things always had a habit of happening to Fabian, right from his birth into this world, to the admission and matriculation in his school, to the realization of God's love, and now this marriage. It was his mother who lived two lives, that of hers and his. She always made everything happen. She always made up for everything that didn't happen. But if anything here saved Fabian for God, it was Apollina herself, because she turned out to be a greater rebel than him. For one, she couldn't wake up earlier than 11 to cook breakfast for anyone, including herself. She admitted to him that she always got her tea and breakfast in bed in her mother's house, brought in by the servants, and now expected his mother, active and flighty, to do that for her. She also didn't have any idea about cooking lunches or dinners, Anglo-Indian or Goan, or any other cuisine, and had no interest in ladylike activities like going to beauty parlors, shopping for ornaments, clothing or vegetables. All she loved to do was his work. She visited the garage to get his stray cycle, bike or car fixed, washed, oiled and greased. She could go to the bank to withdraw or deposit the month's money, or to pay premiums on the next insurance policies. She could read the newspapers on politics and economics and repair odds and ends in the house, from appliances to leaking roofs to creaking fans, to clogged kitchen sinks, to toilet drains, to old burnt bulbs. She would sit around when guests, especially Mr. Furtado's friends, came by to discuss world affairs and politics, much to the chagrin of both his parents. Soon she gave up on her dresses and wore Fabian's shirts and trousers, because she told him she felt cooler in them. What she wore at home was one thing. She began wearing his tuxedos and three-piece suits for masses and weddings too. She had become not a laughing stock like him, but more a head-turner of the wrong kind, a center of amusement, a walking circus, a butt of all jokes. She was reforming the town with mirth, more than the prayer or good deeds ever could, thought Fabian. This too was God's work, and the devil's. But that's when Mrs. Furtado decided that her son's marriage was over. It was only she who could take the decision, like she had taken one around his marriage. Fabian was initially grateful for the turn of events this time though. But once his mother did that, she also proclaimed she would get him married to a real lady. That's when the voice of Fabian broke from his guttural chamber and he spoke. The Spirit of God had thawed his rigid tongue, and words flew out strong and mellifluous. No, Mama, I don't want to marry again. I want to be a priest. No, my son. Don't give up on life just because of this robust wretch, this manly woman. There are ladylike ladies around, you will see. Plenty of them. Tender, loving and pretty, with soft hands and polished nails. You will see. Don't lose faith in womankind. We are good, we really are.
I think that's around.
I had serious fun writing this as well.
Now I know why you chuckled.
Suddenly, in all this, you introduce a real Ghati character. Tikya Rao.
Yes.
Now his name is very long. Tikya Rao, Chandra Kishore Rao, Padma Bandhu Rao, Tushar Kanti Rao, Gaitonde.
That's one name.
That's one name.
Yeah.
Okay.
He introduces himself.
Yeah. So he's a constable, upgraded from constable. But what is he a specialist in? He's a specialist in recovering stolen chappals outside temples. Okay. And now he's suddenly put in charge of finding the murderer, or attempted murder of Pedro da Costa. He comes to this profound conclusion. Excuse my language. Sala, he says, people are worse than chappals. Thank you.
No, I must tell you that I just use the obsessiveness actually that people can have with anything, okay? And you watch when people are obsessed about something. Their vocabulary will be about that obsession. Whatever it might be, just watch them. So,
Notice.
yes, anything that someone's obsessed by, everything will be like that, like this. You know, when this happens, and you're like people who love cooking. Every simile is about cooking.
The analysis.
Yes,
okay.
analysis, similes. So I realized I must take that for Gaitonde.
Why did you give him such a long name?
No, this is because he's explaining when Rita says that Rita calls him Bobby, and because she's thinking of the British cops. He doesn't realize that, right? And then she calls him Popo. That's another slang for police. So he says, no, I'm not Bobby or Popo. Who told you? I am this. This is my full name. She doesn't understand. So I'm having fun at both ends.
True.
So she says finally, can I call you Thulla? He says, that's fine.
How is that?
Yeah, because that's what both understand.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what it is. So that's why I had him never leave the mold of the chappal worshipper. So even though he does this, he's investigating human problems, but his references are always to chappal. He never leaves the chappal. In fact, at one point, I suddenly had this very surprising discovery from the character himself, where he has a diary in which he's investigating and writing notes, and that also has one chappal that he had not found in his life. वो leather का बनाया cover. I was like, tell me about it. I've had fun. I have had fun. I wish I could have fun with every book. I can't promise that. But
We're
this
looking
one
forward to the next one. So, as a tribute to the book,
Okay.
can I read my poem?
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
I completed 30 years on the 2nd of July this year, and my poem goes, 30 years in Goa. So, how does it feel? 30 years? Wow. To be honest, it feels exactly like it did 29 years, 364 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes and 59 seconds ago. The bulbuls are still nesting in the bougainvillea. The koel still calling, desperate. Thank you, Kavita. The spotted owlets still complaining about the weather. The thumbnail-sized frog still asleep in the lily cup. The white-breasted water hen in the artificial pond that my dog Potio uses as his swimming pool. My neighbors are the same, except that every now and then they jump out of Rochelle Potkar, the Costa family. Heta, said my neighbor. Let's just call him De Costa 1. Anonymity suits them. Can you shave off a corner of your house? I can't turn my car. Heta, says the other neighbor, only the other day. Let's call her De Costa 2. Why did you make a gate here, madam? My dogs are used to peeing in your garden. Now where they'll go? They'll just have to look for another place. I said, there, see, Mrs. De Costa the third. She's never home. They can go and pee there. There were other Mrs. De Costas too. The one who cried out when she saw us on our return from a trip to Bombay. Oh, sweet Jesus, you're alive? You should have died. There was lightning and our fridge, our TV all burnt. Good you went to Bombay, huh? Yes, we were alive as far as we could tell. Then another Mrs. De Costa, my landlady. We came home to our small rental in Varka, only to see a skeleton on the terrace. Oh, that's my uncle, Mrs. De Costa said, her usual sunny, cheerful self. I put him out to dry. It's been 3 years now. Just brought him back from the grave. When I first arrived, yes, 30 years ago, I barely knew 3 people, and not more than 3 who knew me. Today I can see there might be a few more than that who know me. Only the other day when my gardener Lakshmi left the step ladder in the garden, it was getting dark. Mr. DeCosta this time. Heta, your step ladder is out. Somebody may take it. You know, somebody who knows you won't take it. Somebody who doesn't know you, they may take it. So, thank you.
That was wonderful in itself, and also it's such
As
a
a tribute
privilege.
to your work.
So nice when like you see your characters crawling around here. And thank you so much for that. That was a joy. It was a joy.
Okay.
Also, the way you narrated it, Heta, that shows. I recently read one of your talks, and I can see the theatre coming out in your narration as well.
Thank
The way
you.
you say Heta.
That's exactly how it happened. These are true stories, huh? I didn't make it up.
And it's a nice way to identify them. DeCosta 1, DeCosta 2. And no offense to the real DeCostas.
Who are in the book.
Yes. No. The ones here.
The ones here. Okay. Well, thank you so much. We can now open it for questions. Please feel free. Yes. Tell.
The characters that you've described are so vivid and so like Heta has obviously described. There's a such a wide array of characters, and it's a. I mean, I've not come across such people, so that that made me wonder where a lot of writers, what we write is inspired by some experiences either we've experienced directly or indirectly, references.
Yes.
So that makes me wonder if you've actually come across these people or some form that actually inspired you to write these.
Yes. So actually, thank you so much for this. But actually, all the family members I've come across, they're my family members. Only distorted beyond repair. Okay. So, and as I was mentioning that my family is very supportive. They don't read my books, so they're very supportive. So I can gossip any amount about them. And
What
they'll
if
be,
somebody knocks on their door and says, "Look, your daughter or daughter-in-law has written this and this
But
and
they'll
this."
be like, we'll have to read. Can you just read it to us? So they will not read. They're all like, okay, good, very nice. She's a good. They call me the Shobha Day of my family. I'm like, not at all. I'm not as big as her. But yeah, so I think most of the families was, a rehash, an alchemy of all my. We had a very large family. Okay, and I wrote about it in my poem Gathering as well, which is a very funny poem. Maybe I'll read that also at the end.
Yes,
Because that's from where the gossiping started. My fun element started. And the tenants were also the tenants. They were the people. Like, there is a Dominic, there is a Jack somewhere, there is an Anthony somewhere. And they were worried about their wells and their papaya trees and their little things. And that also taught me about proportion, because I think in the world now that we're fighting over very big things and large things and failing. I think about the small things that were so stupid. Like we are like, sometimes I call that the lollipop wars. Not to the tenants. I'm not saying to the tenants and their papaya trees. I'm saying sometimes human beings fight for the smallest of little things, and you're like, the biggest things are being.
Can I share another story?
Yeah.
This is a real life incident. There were two neighbors who didn't speak to each other for 3 generations. And what was the original fight? The hen from one neighbor had gone into the compound of the other and laid an egg in the compound of the other person. So who does the egg belong to? And they fought over it for 3 generations. This is a true story.
And the egg stayed. Because it was a dinosaur's egg. Yeah, let's have a fantastic.
This is the thing.
Was it one of your neighbors?
Yeah,
in the poem?
no, my landlord in Datalbati.
Yeah, so all these characters are from from very very much of my growing up time, except Gaitonde. I think Gaitonde has come from somewhere. I don't know where he came from. Bombay, I'm sure. He came from my time as a screenwriter or a film person, because I'm like, where did he? Gavin has come from Kalyan, because there was a Gavin who was the villain in Bollywood, a real person.
Really?
Yes, And he used to really, he was Anglo-Indian because half of the characters are Anglo-Indian. So in Kalyan you had the Sindhis from Ulhasnagar, you had the Goans, and you had the Anglo-Indians. And then you had the rest of India. So here I've only focused on this part. Yeah. And the Sindhis a bit. But all my best friends in Kalyan were Sindhis. All of them. And Gavin was a real character because he was one of the most handsome villains who bashed up the heroes. Yeah.
Sounds like an old-time hero villain called Ranjit. Was he based on that?
No. Gavin, actually, if you just Google, you'll find Gavin.
He is
he's
by himself.
He's a real life.
Oh, okay.
He's a real life, and he came from Kalyan.
Okay.
Yes, and he was the pride of our district. So he's an important character too. But only I've changed the last name, of course, and given him some dramatic stuff, which is not the real Gavin. But if you Google Gavin of the 90s Bollywood villain, you'll find a very handsome Gavin.
Gavin DaCosta?
No, not Gavin. I don't remember now the last name, but we knew him as Gavin, and he was the pride of our times. Yeah.
Okay.
So did the family live in like a joint family system because there's generally a lot of drama that happens?
Yes. And also the kitchen politics, which is always with those little curries and reshados and the fish fries. And somebody somewhere had mentioned to me, that we were hungry when we read your book, and I was like, why? Luckily, at least no one has read the book here, right?
No.
Thank God, because I hope that question wouldn't arise, but I was told that we felt hungry and our mouths were watering. And I was like, why? Because you mentioned the cutlets and you mentioned how the pomfret is slit and the reshado. And I said, what was actually happening? I was feeling hungry while writing the book. And I either couldn't cook at that time or leave my work and go and bring the bowl of food. So what if my characters did that? So while keeping the plot alive, what if they did their little cooking? And I would feel sated. So it transferred to them having their mouths watered.
But food is also a language, I feel.
Yes, here it's used
you
as a culture.
Through food.
Yeah.
You spread love through food. Any home you go to in India, anywhere in India, poor or rich, anywhere, they will, first thing they'll say, kya khaoge, what will you have?
Absolutely.
And emotion. Food is also an emotion.
Food is emotion, and here it was used as culture because I was introducing Anglo-Indian and Goan cultures and how to contrast them. Because no one outside of that community knows what's the difference. You have a Christian sounding name, then how are you different? Okay, so they don't know that. So how do you distinguish? And also the politics in the family. Because if it's a Goan household, the men have told that only Goan food will be cooked in the kitchen. There's also the gender politics in the kitchen. Who decides the dishes? So that's also a bit of politics there. Where she will only cook Goan dishes but not Anglo-Indian dishes. So then she says, where's my pish pash and where's my railway mutton curry and all that. But it's also that a writer asking who's a foodie,
Rochelle, also the question of, how do you navigate your audience? Because you're writing and projecting for a readership which doesn't understand the nuances of these communities. And it's very easy to end up in a stereotype like Bollywood is doing all the time.
True.
Including, not so much Jane Borges, but Lindsay Pereira, for example.
Yes.
Which ended up with review titles like, those nasty Goans of Orlem or something like that. So there is this problem because your readership is going to be. I'm not saying that Goans should write only for Goans.
Yes.
But how do you manage avoiding a stereotype there?
Yeah, I think because I lived in Kalyan, which was very cosmopolitan as well, and I didn't live in Goa. So it's not that I was only surrounded by Goa and Goans. I've seen how they react to us and to everybody across the sections of class, culture, religion. Then I lived in Bombay, again multiple people, not only in Goa. So I know how they react to things. So when I was writing it, I wrote like a storyteller would write any character. You humanize that person. Whether it's Goan, whether it's Christian, whether it's Hindu, whether it's NRI, doesn't matter. You're finding the humanity of this person. Now, because this is a black comedy, I couldn't go deeper into the humanity because this is not drama. So I had to keep it at a level which is asinine. So it goes a little bit, you are making a unique character, like Jason is a unique character, but then you're also giving him the spade where he's a graveyard digger. You don't forget that. So I think humanizing a character takes them out of stereotypes, and then anyone relates to them because they become more like archetypes, not stereotypes. And that's what I've done. Of course, when this was a script at the 2023 book to box office Goa Film Bazaar, it was selected, and when some directors were interested, they did say, can you just change the names? Can you make them simpler names? They wanted to dumb it down. So I had to discuss with them how much I'm ready to do or not ready to do, because I didn't want it to, dilute. So, but no, I don't think I could subscribe to stereotyping, because that's so lazy. And as a storyteller, I wouldn't enjoy it because it's a flat character. It's a very flat character. Then you have Michael दारू पी के दंगा करता है. So Michael ऐसे ही दारू पी के दंगा नहीं. हाँ, Michael has a big story why वो दंगा किया. So that's the human story underneath. Yeah. So then this Mrs. Rita DaCosta could be anybody. She could be from Punjab for all you care, and she could be Chhabriya.
Yeah, true.
And she'll still work, because she still is going to get angry with her other family. She'll still plot for something. She'll still have her quirks, and she'll still find.
So is this a kind of revenge that she's taking on her own sons, or am I going too far?
The past. She wants to redeem it. And sometimes I wonder whether we can really redeem pasts, or cannot, or forgive. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or understand look at it in a new way. Yeah.
Or reconcile.
Which she does, right? She finally,
gives it.
Yes, finally she's the main protagonist. So I had to follow her, because see, there's another thing about writing many characters. You shouldn't forget who you're following, because a story always has one main character, and then you can have others. So sometimes I feared that the other characters were more interesting than Rita. I was like, Jason or Gaitonde or even Gavin De Monte doing his fight sequences. But then I was like, well, let's come back to Rita. Let's not forget her, because it's her story eventually.
Right.
Yeah.
Let us screen it up. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, someone was asking.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I'm glad that you ended your response on this note, because that was something that was going on in my mind during the discussion as well. While during a discussion itself, I was finding it hard to just keep a mental note of so many characters, so much of variance in terms of the quirks that they have. Then they are also intertwined. One is related to this person, one is afterwards getting related. For you to carry this script right to the end, was it difficult for you? Because for you also, it was not like you in one setting you finished them. You were working on 2 books in parallel, as you had mentioned.
Yes.
Did you face this difficulty or did you have some sort of a mental map that these are my caricatures, these are the quirks?
Yes. So for this one is because it was like ready-made. Some of them were ready-made characters, distorted. I already had something. Unlike the Fabric Goddesses, which is my other novel, which everybody was a new character. You had to put them together, discover them, hang out with them like friends, understand them. So embody them, and then understand their dialogue and dialect. Everything is like new. Like, I don't know how. I had to still learn in Kannada what you call for deer, or in Bangladeshi Bangla what you call for a girl child, say, in endearments. I had to still learn that, because that's a change. Here it was easier. Here I had this. But I think I was also, like he was asking, it was also a script written differently. Because I was pitching this as a screenwriter in a script format in 2023 it was in conversation with the book to box office Goa Film Bazaar. Whether it could be a web series, could it be a film, just conversations. Like, I'm not saying it happens, because you need producers with lots of rokda. At least minimum I need 2.5 crores for this to happen. And also that this will not happen in Kalyan, because no one even believes that there are Goan Catholics in Kalyan. They're like, this is Goa, right? This is a Goan story. I'm like, okay, we can transport it. We can even have Konkani speakers, but they are not ready to believe that there are Goans in Kalyan. Which I'm like, okay, but the book is truer to being what it was. It's a Kalyan story there. So I think that outline of the screenplay helped me clarify a lot of things. But if I had to do this as an independent, like only a novel, I do outline still my story plots, because I do follow some of the ways of A story, B story, C story, which is a very screenwriting related. We follow the main plot line, then you may have like, if the main plot line is murder, let's say, then the subplot is romance. And let's say then there is some other neighbors, hens and eggs. C story. So you will have, and maybe the fourth D story is that ladder, or the dog pissing in some place, habituated place. You can have, but you do have a map of some kind. I think that is the pre-work which you do as writers in any case. Whether it's script or book, you never start with that first frightening page. You always have your rough outlines, maps. So I do have a lovely little map for you here, which is a family tree. So don't worry, you won't get lost. It's the key. Yeah. It's definitely there. Don't worry. It's here. It's here. Yeah. So there is. And there's a little mouse also. Only the mouse's name I don't know. Like we don't know the cat's name that's going here.
What did you say about the mouse?
No, there's a mouse here, but I don't know the name of the mouse.
That's what the cat
Like there's a cat going here, it's a nameless cat.
Indeed, Mama will call it.
Yeah.
There is a cat.
So we also need to give a name for the cat.
No, it's not here.
Have you given
You're allergic?
We need that.
Scared?
Because it's like a bookworm
It's
cat.
not here.
Okay, but yeah, so that's how it worked.
We can give it charcoal. Charcoal is a nice name.
As long as Queenie is ready.
Queenie doesn't want to name.
Oh.
She's not a cat person, that's why.
Okay.
We are at the liberty.
Yeah. So that's how. Because I had, the script and I had my family support. I couldn't forget anyone. They didn't let me forget that. But new stories I still outline. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I don't have a question, but I read Coins and Rivers last year, and it's one of the very few books that stayed with me, like the sights and sounds of all the poems and the wide array of topics that you've covered, from identity to liberation, and also the one about the toys of Chitrakoot. Like, I love art, but I've never thought about craftsmen from that lens. So it did bring, the sense of sympathy, empathy, like the literature teaches you. So I'm looking forward to this book. I really like the whole
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for saying that. And Coins and Rivers was a collection of poems from a long time. Like many years it took me to collect. And if you're talking of two things you spoke about, imagery, I think that comes a lot from my practice as a haiku poet and haibuneer. Because I teach these forms, I also write these forms, and they employ a lot of visuality and imagery. So even I teach a lot of these, I teach at the Himalayan Writing Retreat, some poetry courses. A lot of visuality when you're writing. And because of that, it helped me as a screenwriter. Because you're conjuring images. And I think that's how it slipped into my poetry as well. And talking about Chitrakoot, because I think I have a very strong case about capitalism and how it affects the world. Even Fabric Goddesses is about fashion capitalism. It's pros and cons. This was about capitalism where, if you remember that, it was about a toy maker and how he's a toy also to the larger world. So you zoom out, but I think that either is the haibuneer looking at it or a scriptwriter, I'm not sure now who's looking, but it comes from a thesis on capitalism somewhere. And at the same time, that very rusticity of mud, terracotta, what you do as you create. Because I think when we create, we are very innocent, naive people. When we are placed in the frame of capitalism, it starts becoming corrupt, very pressuring, very stressful. Like even for a writer, right? How many copies will sell? Or what's the ROI? What's your sales and marketing potential? That's the sad part. The beautiful part is the infinite storytelling possibilities and imagination, right? So isn't the toy maker also me? It's us.
It's us. It's all of
I
us.
get that perspective because I'm also working on a book, and then I realized very selected number of people would want to read about linguistics, and this is a labor of love ultimately. There's so much effort, but I know the audience would be limited, like you said.
Yes.
The
So
ROI.
Are we waiting?
You've got
there you go. Two already. Brilliant. So that's what happens, right? That's what we love something, to do and it's infinite, and you're stuck with the very narrow possibilities in reality. So this whole
It's beautiful the way you have just described that. I'm also probably the same toy maker. That's quite true for a lot of, I think everyone.
All of us.
yeah. So thank you for bringing that
I
poem
had a
out.
question. You had a
Yeah.
question.
So I mean, this book, I mean, just based on what you have read of it, it sounds like a ripe consumption for soap opera kind of program, serials, films. Are you working on any screen adaptation of it?
Yes, this is, as I said somewhere that some of my ideas have dual citizenship. They are also novels because they have a lot of interiority and mal masala of the character, and they also have the dynamism of scripts because scripts move very fast. They don't wait. Like, I mean to say, I was talking yesterday in Carmel College and I said the difference between the script and the novel is that in a novel you could talk of the swaying of the coconut trees for 2 pages. It will work. You do that lyrically, it will work. Okay, nothing else. You do that in a script, it can't work. You put it in one line. Swaying coconut trees. Get to business. What's the dialogue? What's happening? Where's the location? What's the conflict? Right? Rising action, falling action. You have no time. But there's a dynamism. It moves so swift in visuality. So yes, this was dual.
So I mean, do you have that screen adaptation, or
I do have it. I do have it, and now there will be play adaptations because this was released in NCPA. So there were some people who jumped at me after that, and like the DeCostas only, but not these DeCostas, like the DeCostas from the book, and they were like, we can make this a play, 1.5 hour play, and I'm like, I'm going back to meet some people who want to make it a 1.5 hour play. In Bombay.
That's lovely. Congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, mutate.
Every book has a life of its own.
Yes. Even I'm doing this launch at Prakriti Foundation, and because they do a lot in Chennai, they do a lot of dramatics. So they say, and I was a prize winner for a play last year, which was which was a 10-minute play. It was called Catharsis. It was about 2 women shoplifters. And it was called Drama Queens. It was crazy, as crazy as this. So I won that play, best writer, best actors, best production, popular prize. Thank you. So I forgot about it after that because the DeCostas consumed me, right? I forgot about it, but this year they reminded me and said, "You were the winner of last year. Come back with this." And I hope this is as funny as that because we have to dramatize it. So I was like, all right. Instead of only seeing it as a script, which I don't know when I'll get that big fat producer, okay, but at least the play can happen. Some play can happen. Because I need 2.5 crores people. And
do you prefer working with agents or not?
Agents so far have not, like I've worked with 2 agents. I've not had very great experiences with them. They take long. It's nothing that way personal. They just take too long. Sometimes I feel if I self-agent, I'm faster. So I'm wondering why, I self-agented my book of poems to Hash It, Coins and Rivers. And it was faster. All I had to write is what I think is the sales and marketing potential because that's what they want to know. So they want to know about the capitalistic framework, right? Market. So my editor came back and said, the book is powerful, but you spoke like an agent. So I think marketing, you have to be aware of marketing lingo. But I must say that has helped me from the time I came in 2013 to publishing next. Yeah, that changed. Because I remember we were sitting in this conference and it was a mixed bunch. It was not a poetry festival or a literature festival where you're only celebrating the book. I remember one lady, I don't know who she was in the crowd of the audience. They were discussing book business, okay? Now we're talking market, business. And it's also boring for a poet for the first time you go and you're like, what is this market thing? And she stood up and she said something very interesting and I'll never forget that visual. She stood up, she held a book, fatter book, fatter than this. She said, I weigh it and I decide the price.
Oh,
320. Yeah.
On the way.
Yes.
Okay.
She said, our place is at 320. And for the first time I thought books were a sack of potatoes then. I suddenly felt at that moment soulless, but in a nice way, where you realize a new perspective. that it's a sack of potatoes also. It could be that. Yeah. So, yeah.
So
I
in
think-
terms of the tense
Yeah.
that you employ in your writings, is it, I mean, based on what you read, it was a past tense, but what tense do you employ in the dialogues? I guess it will be present, right?
Present.
Present.
Yes.
Or is there any other style that you employ?
No, present.
No, and
Huh.
Rest is past.
Rest is, immediate past, because it's happening. It's a story that's unfurling very much, except for when I'm talking of the backstories of Anton Joseph and the Joseph family, where they came from Kolkata, and then they came, the Anglo-Indians came from Calcutta, and the Goans came from Goa.
Right. Because if you
Yeah.
see, like, authors like Dan Brown, similar, John, if you have read some of his books, he'll be employing, I don't know, it seems like of the present tense when he's narrating.
Okay.
And in the dialogues are obviously, present, it has to be.
Right.
But even while narrating it, I mean, I'm an author myself, but while narrating it,
Yeah.
he puts the present, and
Okay.
the way, the genre, the style, right,
Right.
it's kind of unique. So I've been looking for those kind of, differences.
Right,
Like, how do
right.
people communicate, which makes the reader feel that he's in the situation, or she is in the situation, So it's a
Maybe
way.
it would be the narrative voice as well. Is it a first person, second person, third person narrative? That also
It
changes.
is the person, yeah.
It's a first person?
No, it's the character.
So it is second person. You. Character
Yeah.
you.
So for example, if there's Mr. A, then there's Miss B.
Yeah.
He'll narrate it as though Miss B is telling it. That's the way he's doing, which is why I
So
found
he's in Miss B's head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's first person. That's I. Yeah, that's first person. Yeah, so in first person you have a more proximity of that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is third person narrative. Like there are
Yeah,
all
that's
names.
what-
They are all
it's
little far
third
away.
person is very common.
Third
Yeah.
person. Because I have to take a large bunch,
And it
no?
makes it safe
Yeah.
also. I would say, because
I think more than
I felt
safe, I'm more than safe because there are so many characters. I
Mhm.
can't be in Rita's head. She won't know half of the things going on then. Because that's one fault of the if you put your narrative through one head, that head can't see omnipresently. So you better be outside, so all characters are covered. Because they're doing too many things. They're doing hanky-panky, pack anything. So, yeah. But maybe when you read it, you'll find the style, the tense.
Anything? Anybody? Shall we call the
Anybody else?
close? Now, my advice to you is
What's
do
the-
buy the book and don't lend it to anyone, because I made the mistake and I still haven't got my book back.
Oh!
But
The cost itself?
That's is that DeCosta 5?
another one.
Is that DeCosta 5 now?
Too many DeCostas in your
What's
life.
the motivation behind it? Need you to write the book? Is it your background stuff? I mean, no,
Your
we're discussing. So.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I think you came a little.
Did you come
late.
a little late?
Yeah, okay.
This is like my distorted family,
Yeah, there's a bike.
my family story. Yeah, yeah.
That was the central.
Yes, that was something that was waiting to be told.
Yeah.
Now, my other stories are not about my family, and let me tell you. My family was not that eventful that I'll have every novel about them. Now it moves to other stories. One story even in Kunur, actually, a thriller.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. So somebody told me, I'm from Kunur. I'm like, oh my God, I'm coming there. But I can't get it wrong now, right? When you know there's a reader in Kunur, you better go to Kunur. Figure it out. Yes. But thank you
Rochelle,
so much.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank
Actually,
you.
We've had a
Thank you.
lovely evening.